And a very pleasant Tuesday evening to everybody. Welcome to Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Tom Heck, and I'm with the baseball wife of head coach Justus Scott. Justus is the coach at Saracoso College. He's been on before. We've talked to him several times about the season, and sometimes we really don't give much credit to the other half that does a whole lot of work, not only at home, but also things involving baseball. Now, this is Shay Scott. Now, Shay actually was a college Division I softball player, so she is no stranger to athletics. She's been involved in athletics her whole life. They have 3 kids, 2 boys and a gal, and both boys are very involved. Her oldest son, and we'll talk about that, played for the IWV senior football team and was quite a player both offensively and defensively. But Shay, let's start with you and give us your background a little bit, where you're from, how you got interested in athletics, and how you got to be a Division I athlete.
I'm originally from the Fresno area, and starting out, I think about 4 years old, I started in gymnastics and competed till I was about 11, and then kind of started everything else. I was swimming and softball, volleyball, basketball, diving even for a brief time. And then we ended up moving around 8th grade to the Sacramento area, and once we got up there, I played for a travel team called the California Breeze, and very competitive. They had a really good setup where they had fundraising through a bingo hall, and if your parents worked through that bingo, they had to work, I believe, once a month. Our plane tickets, our hotel, our food was all taken care of. And, you know, of course, we got uniforms and cleats, bats, those kind of things. And then I also played for a club volleyball team, Club Momentum. I did that all 4 years of high school, as well as softball all 4 years of high school. And then I played basketball my freshman and sophomore year of high school. By my junior year, it just kind of got too much. And then I kind of had to decide which way I was going to go, if I was going to go softball or volleyball. I had it's more like a walk-on offer to Fresno State for volleyball. And then I had choice between Cal and Marshall, Middle Tennessee, and a few other obscure universities. Ended up picking Middle Tennessee. I got a full ride there, which was part of the reason I decided to pick them. Also really liked the campus and the team as well. So I played at Middle Tennessee for 4 years. It was a pretty good experience, and I met Justus my senior year, or in the summer before my senior year, and we got married about 1.5 years later, and then we traveled the country coaching baseball, or he coached baseball, and we had kids, started having kids, and then we ended up moving back up to Sacramento, and just this year moved here.
Okay, well, you've been quite a few spots. So now you were actually offered a softball scholarship to Middle Tennessee, which you're
Correct.
Also a really good volleyball player. So you could have played as a chance as a walk-on at Fresno State in volleyball. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Were you a setter or a...
I was actually an outside hitter, and,
okay.
That was part of my problem. My height, I was physically challenged in the height department, so I, most of the time, especially in volleyball, for an outside hitter, you're going to want somebody that's close at least to 6 foot.
Now,
I had the pleasure of playing against some very good volleyball players, Misty May and Carrie Walsh. Carrie Walsh indoors. She's a very good outdoor sand volleyball player, and she was a beast. It was quite an experience to see her play.
Now, which high school did you go to in the Fresno area?
I didn't go to high school in the Fresno area.
Oh.
We had moved up to Sacramento, and I went to Del Oro High School.
Okay.
The Golden Eagles. They are not a real big high school, probably a little less than 2,000 kids, all, but very good. Very good in athletics. I know the football team the last couple of years has been to a state championship game. It hasn't won yet, unfortunately, but put a good showing in. Plays De La Salle usually at the beginning of the year. They're a phenomenal football program.
Well, they sure are.
Yeah. While I was at Del Oro, our softball team won the conference section and sections. At that time, softball didn't go any further than your section championships. So we had a good team. Volleyball we were competitive, but we never really dominated. Softball we always won our league, and then usually did fairly well in the section, and just fell short a couple of years.
Now, what was Tennessee like? Was that in Murfreesboro?
It is in Murfreesboro, and it's beautiful. It's different than California, obviously, but a lot of green. And that's the thing with, and I know it's hard to do two sports in college, because they demand a lot of you. We had study hall, we had early morning workouts, we had regular practice, we had, there's a lot, and then your classes, you got the full-time class load, and obviously making sure you're getting good grades and that kind of stuff. And then we also had the added component of random drug checks. So our whole program was, not just softball, but the entire athletic community subject to that. So you'd get the call at 5 o'clock in the morning. You had 15 minutes to get down there, and
Wow.
So but it was a lot, and it was a really good experience. My first 2 years there, we were not very good. By my senior year, we had won our conference, and we actually came out to Arizona, University of Arizona, and played. Jenny Finch was there at the time. Wow. Very good Olympic softball player, and played Arizona. They wiped the floor with us. We got shellacked, but it was a great experience. I mean, we went from having maybe 20 fans in the stands. They had hundreds.
Oh, sure.
And so it was a very good experience and neat. I got a ring and all that for winning the conference. Which was the first time in school history that softball had won the conference.
Wow.
So.
Great honor for you guys, and Arizona's a powerhouse. I know very well how that softball program is. Okay, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll have more with Shay, and we'll be talking a little bit more now about locally and some Saracoso things and how the baseball season so far is going up there. Don't go away. This is Ridgecrest Talk right here on KZGN. And welcome back, Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Tom Heck, and I have Shay Scott tonight with us. Shay is the wife of Justus Scott, the athletic director and baseball coach over at Saracoso. And Shay and I have been talking about her career. She played college softball at Division I, Middle Tennessee State. I forgot to ask you now, did you travel by airplane some, or was it mainly the bus league with you guys?
Bus. Then we were in the Ohio Valley Conference, and the school had two chartered buses, but they were the actual school's bus. And we had some very interesting rides. We had a bus driver named Bud, and all I know is that several times a lot of us were rudely awoken because he'd have to slam on the brakes and we'd be flying out of our seats. One time we hit a semi, the mirrors on each side. It hit.
Oh no!
It was fun. You had to keep your wits about you and keep on your toes. Be ready to grab anything. So.
And that's before the game started.
Yes.
Brother.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on. First of all, it's IWV. That's the local youth sports we have. I know that your son Brooks was a member of that varsity, so to say, football team, the oldest group. And tell us about their season.
They had a great season, and they were a very fun team to watch. They didn't have a huge amount of kids out there, but Coach Savtasi did a very good job of kind of incorporating everybody and playing to their strengths, and I really enjoyed the way that he managed the team. He had very high expectations, but he also was just as quick to congratulate a kid or help him out. They're in very good shape, and it was very fun to watch. Evan Hernandez is a very good running back, very good athlete. Bryson Hertz was our starting quarterback, and unfortunately he had a stress fracture that ended up cutting his season short, but he's very valuable when he was in. And then Tongo Sabtasi came in as our quarterback and did a very good job. And Bryson Pippin was a great wide receiver and ended up playing quarterback in the championship game against Eastside, which was a very, very good game. A little bit of a heartbreaker, but it was great to watch them. Had a lot of fun, and it was great for Brooks because we moved and we were late getting here. The football team had already started, school had already started, and it was just they welcomed him. You know, it's like part of their families, and you know, so when he went to school, he already knew kids, and it was a great thing for him.
It sure was a great thing for him. Well, I know that he's really a guy that can play a whole lot of positions. He played defensive end and very quick. Also played a little bit of running back, and tight end I think was his main forte. But definitely a guy that could play every night. Now I know also he's playing baseball right now.
Yes.
Well, talk about the IWV baseball. How many? Do you know how many teams and they have in each at the levels? Or?
Right now, the pony division, which is what Brooks is in, has 3 teams, and then he's also playing ABL, which is the Advanced Baseball League, and Sergio Hernandez, as well as Mike Drake, who played here at COSO, are some of the coaches that he has, and Gabe Hess is out there also, and Paul Miner. So that's been a really good experience because a lot of those kids on the ABL are also the kids he played football with.
Okay.
And he's been having a lot of fun. His pony team is the Mariners, and Coach Gabe Hess and his father are the coaches, and they're doing a great job. The kids are loving it and laughing a lot and having a good time.
Okay, great. And you also have your younger son playing.
Yes.
Now, what team would he be on?
Chase is on the Angels, and
Right.
he is a Mustang player, which is 9 and 10-year-olds. Kind of a new thing for them this year is that they're going to be leading off on the bases. In the younger divisions, usually you can't steal it all and you can't lead off. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I know that when Brooks was growing up, I thought that the kid pitch was going to be the hardest transition, and now I think each one has its own challenges. The leading off, you see a lot of kids unsure because you're not sure how far you should get off and if the pitcher's going to try to pick you off, and so it's interesting to watch these little 9 and 10-year-olds try to figure that out.
Now, as far as uniforms and everything, and that's part of the fee that you pay, or is that something extra you have to?
It's actually IWV is very affordable, I believe. So in your registration fee, they take care of your hat, uniform, socks, and belt, and so you're responsible for cleats, glove, and pants. Where we came from, our registration fee was much higher, and we were responsible for everything but the shirt and hat.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a good experience, and Chase is really liking it. He was real excited because his coach went out and got their names on the back of the jerseys. So I
saw that.
He's big time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, how far is it? All the games in town, or do they have to travel some for the out of game?
For rec, the rec season they all play each other, and then as the season progresses, they do go into All-Stars. And once you start All-Stars, you will start traveling more for different tournaments. And the ABL is also a travel situation. And it's kind of up to each ABL coach how much travel that's going to involve.
I see.
So,
but as far as the league itself, are there enough teams where they can have 5 or 6 games with who they play, or are you playing the same team quite a bit?
You're playing the same 3 teams, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Each, it depends on, obviously, how many teams. I know that the Mustang division has more teams. I think I heard 5.
Okay.
But I know for sure that the pony has 3, and that's for rec. That's who you're going to play.
Okay.
It's those same 2 other teams.
Now there's one level below Mustang, is there not?
Yes, there's the oldest is pony, then there's Bronco, Mustang, Pinto, and then Shetland is your little 5 and 6-year-olds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And they're cute. It's fun to watch them.
Is that T-ball only, the 5 and 6-year-olds?
I'm not sure how they do it here. Where we came from, they did. No one struck out. So the coach would coach pitch unless the kid struck out. Essentially, they bring out the tee and let them hit off it.
Oh, I see.
So I'm not sure how they do the younger divisions here, because within the pony, there's kind of each league can do their own little bit of variation.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. We really start them young.
Yeah.
All right, when Shay and I come back, we're going to talk about Saracoso baseball. I know we've been kind of saving that for our last segment, and Saracoso already has about 13, 14 games under their belt. Now they're almost through the first session of opening round for the league games, and then they'll play each other 3 times. We'll look at that, and we'll look at what the Scotts kind of think about Ridgecrest. I know they've been in a lot of spots, and it's sometimes hard to adjust when you come to a new city, but she'll talk about that a little bit and a little bit more when we get back. We're going to take this time out. Don't go away. This is Ridgecrest Talk right here on KZGN. And welcome back to Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Tom Heck with wife of head coach Justus Scott, Shay Scott. We've talked about her Division I baseball or softball background, I should say, and probably could have played baseball for some spots. She's talked a little bit about the IWV, football and baseball league some. And now let's get over up the hill to Saracoso. And you know, you've watched some games. What are your thoughts early on of the Dogs?
One of the things is I think that they are extremely lucky to have the setting to play in that they do. My personal opinion is that there's maybe not a better junior college field or setting to play on. The field is absolutely beautiful. This looking out over the valley and the mountains, I think it's one of my favorite places in town. And I've been very proud of this team, how far that they've come. Not necessarily baseball wise, which they have come far that way and they are making strides, but their character and their maturity and their awareness of other people, I've been very, very proud to watch that happen. I think one of the big strengths of Justus is he's very steady and stable. He has expectations, but it's like the kids can count on him and they know that. And I think as a result, what ends up happening is that they end up growing a lot. You know, I watched Friday Night Lights, the football show, a while back, and his wife said that the head coach is a molder of men, and I definitely would use that to describe Justus. I think he's very, he's got a ton of character and integrity and work ethic, and I've watched all of those things. The team is following that lead.
Now, this past weekend we had a game Saturday against College of the Desert. The next game will be in 2 days. It'll be against a team that usually is very, very good, Rio Hondo College, and that game will be at 2 o'clock up the hill. Hopefully you can, if you're a baseball fan, come on out. And like Shay said, just a great place to watch baseball. And I've been here 14 years now and have broadcasted a good chunk of the games, probably I would say conservatively 90% of the home games and probably half of the away games. And I enjoy no better place to do a game than our field up here. Just a beautiful sight, especially when you play a early evening game and you watch the lights kind of come on in the valley, and when it's just clear as can be, you can see forever. Just a really kind of great setting. All that said, the great setting, great place to watch baseball, you still want to put a good product on the field.
Correct.
And Coach Scott is a proven good recruiter and has done a good job for working with not a lot of depth this year coming in and picking up some kids, and there were some good players left behind from last year that were here that he's put together, and I think they're getting chemistry some, and maybe a little bit more pitching needed to be more competitive. But I thought this past weekend we hit the ball very well. But I want to talk about that wind that we had on Saturday. That makes things very interesting, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I think especially an outfielder or even an infielder, there'll be times when without the wind, the fly ball would be at third base and it ends up at first base. So everybody, you can't assume. You have to keep your feet moving and pay attention. I guess you can't just assume that, okay, that's third baseman's ball, and be aware of which way the wind is blowing at the time. I know, to me, baseball is all the things you do before the actual pitch, where you're aware of where the wind's blowing, where this guy hit last time, even your pitcher, does he throw a lot of breaking balls? So what's the tendency of a hitter going to be against this pitcher, and then ready to go as the pitch happens. But to me, it's prep, and then shut it off and get after it.
Talk about hitting. Is hitting, and I know you were a pitcher, but you also probably hit. Some, correct?
I was actually more of a hitter. I ended up pitching my freshman year, but I was not really a pitcher.
Oh, okay.
So I was much more of a hitter, and played a lot of first and third, and at college I ended up playing everywhere one time or another. I think that's one of Justus's strengths as a coach. Probably his biggest strength is hitting. He very much understands to have an approach, know what your strength as a hitter is. For instance, are you an inside-out hitter if you keep your hands inside the ball well, or are you a pull hitter? Kind of what your tendencies are as a hitter, and your approach being what you're looking for. If you've got no balls, no strikes, you're going to go up there not swinging at anything they throw. You're going to be looking for a pitch, and your strike zone is going to start out small. And obviously, the more strikes you get against you, the bigger the zone gets, and vice versa. The more balls you get, the smaller your zone's going to get. And to me, that's the mental part of baseball, which is huge, is the preparation. So to me, whether you're on deck or in the hole or even on the bench, you're not up for a while, part of your job is to be evaluating the pitcher, see where they're at. Are they starting with, first pitch, fastball, strike, or not? Are they pitching backwards? Is their curveball working well? If you're preparing all those things, then to me you have an advantage. And that's one of the things I know Justus really works on is being mentally prepared and having a good approach at the plate. But then there's also times when you can think too much. So yes, you want to be mentally prepared. You want to have that good approach at the plate. But then you also need to shut it off. You don't want to be thinking your way through hitting, essentially.
What does a good pitcher have to have, in your opinion?
I think a good pitcher has to have a short memory. I think good baseball players in general, or even athletes, you have to have a short memory. You have to be humble in your wins and humble in your losses, because it's going to flip just as quickly. I think pitchers need to have guts. It's sort of not an arrogance, but a quiet confidence of, I dare you to hit this kind of thing, and I'm not afraid. I'm not going to back down, and I'm going to come after you hard, and then have a short memory, because there's things you can't control. If somebody makes an error behind you, or maybe the umpire misses the call, those kind of things, you can't get absorbed in those things, because it's just going to end up hurting you in the long run. So to me, guts is a huge thing, and just kind of that quiet confidence.
Okay, in our last minute or so, I know you've been in Ridgecrest now since late summer, and I know you guys have seemed to really adapt very well here, and your kids are very involved, and it sounds like it's been a good situation for you.
It has. I've been very thankful. We've had people like yourself and Tom Daly and Mark and Kevin, and helping Justus with the field. They've been so fantastically helpful. And then we've had people in the community like Tommy Mather and John Bradley and Kevin Martin and all these people that have just, Etosha's foundation, all these people that have just stepped up and it's like sort of come beside us and supported us. And Shelley Bradley has become a very good friend of mine and just sweet and loves my kids, and that's huge. It's been huge for us to meet these great people. Jill Board has been fantastic. Jennifer Curtis has been fantastic. It's like there's a long list of people that I'm just very thankful for, just kind of treating us like family.
Great. Well, you guys have done a very good job, and Coach Scott has done a very good job also, and we'll see how the rest of the season goes, and we'll have Coach Scott on again. We've had him on several times, and with his college football picks also, and we've talked baseball with him. And Shay, appreciate you coming by, and we'll see you again.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, that was Shay Scott. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday night, where our theme is always sports here on Ridgecrest Talk. For Shay, I'm Tom Heck. Have a very pleasant Tuesday evening.